It is the Doomsday Podcast. Matt Mosley alongside Ed Werder. There he is. And we've just come from the Cowboys training camp joint practice with the Rams. There's a big reason why we chose this time because we like, and I had to laugh, Ed, because somebody came up to us at the end of the day and were like talking about how much they didn't like the joint practice, like it was too much to keep up with. But we divided and conquered. And I went to see the defense, how the Cowboys defense looked against the Rams first team offense, and Ed went over and took a look at the offense. So we'll have reports on both sides of the ball. But Ed, I thought all in all, pretty fun day. Lots of intensity, a few skirmishes, but a pretty good look. And I think even the head coach would admit, especially for the Cowboys run game, it was not the best of days.
He did admit that.
Yeah.
He said it wasn't good, which is quite an admission. It's been a priority for the duration of Mike McCarthy's 5 years here. It seemed like every offseason the priority was improve the run defense, improve the run offense, and that never happened. It never got fixed. And I think those are high on the list of things they've got to accomplish if they're going to have the kind of success that they want. And you look at last year, they allowed the most rushing touchdowns in the league, and they had the fewest rushing touchdowns in the NFL. And so the Rams offered a good opportunity. They just signed their running back. Kaiir Elam is one of the premier running backs in football. He's now being paid like it. He practiced today, and the Cowboys on run defense had their hands full with him. And when I was watching them, and we'll get into more specifics, they couldn't open a hole at all for Javonte Williams, their number one running back. And it's a little difficult when you're not blocking people to the ground and they're not tackling fully. We'll see more of that on Saturday. But yeah, the early indications came today, and they were not very favorable for Matt Eberflus and Brian Schottenheimer.
And I think you would confirm, since we're doing the show right now from my hotel room in Ventura, California, that I have a stuffy room. This could be why I'm struggling to sleep at night and waking up at 2:30 or 3 in the morning. But I'll continue to work on that. It is the Doomsday Podcast.
Oh, I forgot to say, Jerry talked today after the practice about Micah Parsons, and the team might have been better off if he hadn't.
He didn't add clarity? He usually adds so much clarity. We recorded all of what Jerry had to say, but I don't know if we want to play it.
I think we'd be better to paraphrase it.
I think we will paraphrase it. It is the Doomsday Podcast. Z, please play the music. And as our trip continues from Oxnard, California, I would be remiss if I didn't say, and I'll say it again later, that tomorrow is going to be a great day for the podcast. In fact, we'll be doing a lot of things, and we'll be needing to leave town and fly back. So I don't know when we'll run all this, Ed, but pretty exciting that we will be talking to the executive vice president and
now also called
co-owner of the Dallas Cowboys. That would be Stephen Jones, and also Brian Schottenheimer. Shotty will be stopping by the Doomsday Podcast. So when we come to town, we get some things done. And it's good to give people deadlines, isn't it? And say, hey, I'm sorry, we got to catch a flight.
Tomorrow's the last day. Like, if you can't do it tomorrow, we're out of here without you. So,
yeah.
Right now we have both of them scheduled, so hopefully neither cancels.
Yeah.
And but they've done it in the past with us. Steven does it every year. Yeah. I think he's incredibly illuminating in terms of going over all the worthwhile topics. He went into great detail last year about their plan to get Dak signed, CD signed, and Micah Parsons signed. They got 2 of the 3 signed. And here we are with Micah Parsons' situation still unresolved. And Jerry today was asked if he had confidence that it would get done and that Micah would be on the field week 1 at Philadelphia. And he said, no, not at all. He's not confident. And part of the reason he said that, he claimed, was because he doesn't know how urgent a priority it is for Micah. Obviously, Jerry's still peeved that he thinks he and Micah met in March and they had a consensus on what the terms of the agreement were going to be, and it's gone backwards ever since then. Jerry did say that he and Steven and anybody else in the front office, nobody has spoken to Micah Parsons since he went very public Friday from here with that trade request. And Micah continues his hold in. We'll see where it goes. But Jerry offered no indication that they've resolved any of their outstanding difficulties. And for the first time said he's not so sure that. I still think it's a ploy. I think it's a made-for-TV negotiation. Like I said yesterday, Jerry's got a marquee superstar player to negotiate a contract with, and he's got a documentary with Skydance on Netflix, their first joint venture with the NFL. It's a huge project. They've invested in a huge amount of money to do this 9-part documentary on Jerry Jones, and I think he's using this to promote interest in the Cowboys, fascination with Jerry personally.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. And Jerry always willing to promote the brand, and Ed Werder will of course be featured. And the more we hear about this documentary, the more we believe Ed is involved, and Ed used some expletives. And I brought that up, by the way. I was teasing the fact that you were going to be when I was on Colin Cowherd today, and I said Ed's on it, and I said, guys, Ed drops a bomb. So anyway, people are ready for it. At least they will not be caught off guard. Hide the women and children, or at least the children. But
how about speaking of Colin Cowherd, who I worked with at ESPN, was often on his show, his radio show. He criticized Schottenheimer yesterday on his program for wearing his visor backwards, thought it was unprofessional, unbecoming of a head coach. So Schottenheimer today, when he gets up there, turns his visor around the right way and then says he's doing it for Colin Cowherd. And I said, now wear it the way you want to. And he turned it back around backwards. So he's having a good time with that.
Yeah, that's fun. We're all having fun.
I can't imagine Jason Garrett engaging in this way with any TV personality who might criticize.
No, I don't think so. Now, we have come out here and we've hit the ground running, and we have secured several big name guests. As we told you, Stephen Jones, Brian Schottenheimer, the head coach. We feel with great deal of certainty that we'll have at least one of them tomorrow. Now, we think we're going to have both. So that's going to be great. But, Ed, we did have a chance.
The checks we've written to the two of them.
Yeah, I know. We've paid big money. That's what we do. Kaiir Elam is the starting cornerback for the Cowboys right now, and he's had a good camp, and probably the best camp of anybody in the secondary. And we visited with Kaiir Elam after the first practice we saw, which was Monday, and we've been saving this because we wanted to share it with you. Here is Cowboys cornerback Kaiir Elam, son of Abe Elam, another former Cowboy. Kaiir Elam and Matt Mosley, Ed Werder here, the Doomsday Podcast. And I have to start with, I covered your dad, so it's making me feel really old. But he's a good player here. Has that been kind of cool, that whole thing, just knowing, that he was here in that association?
Yeah, it's a blessing, to be able to just join the same organization as my pops. You know what I mean? My dad is a great role model for me, in my life. And thankful.
What was his reaction to the trade that brought you?
He was happy for me. He was just excited for me to just get a new set of eyes.
What do you remember about his career? Watch him play, go to the games?
It was tough. My dad was undrafted. He didn't have anything handed to me. And he was able to scrape and claw for 7 years. Get seasoned vet. So he just instilled hard work into me, and just never get satisfied.
And you went through the league in a completely different way. The other end of the spectrum is a first-round draft pick.
Right.
What's the experience like of playing in this defense for this team versus your experience in Buffalo?
Well, here it's style over scheme. And I think that's something that Coach Eberflus preaches all the time. You know what I mean? Like he can, no matter what he calls, it's on us to go out there and play with great effort and great physicality, very violent, like when we get to finish and just make plays. So I think that's the difference.
Seems like you've taken full opportunity of getting so many reps, and you've been kind of the leader, and I guess you've become the veteran. How has that been with so many guys out? You've kind of had to step forward as the main guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a blessing. Since when I got traded here, I expected nothing but great things, you know what I mean? And like I said, I wasn't going to force, I was going to introduce myself. Like, I was going to let my work speak for itself, you know what I mean? That's in the weight room, that's on the training room, that's on the field. So just being a guy that can be consistent, just be a consistent dog for the team, and just continue to just come out here and compete and make plays.
How would you describe your style of play? You've been very involved in turning the ball over, which I know is a big point of emphasis for Matt Eberflus.
Facts. My style of play?
Yeah.
I just say just relentless. You know what I mean? Somebody that's really resilient, who has really good ball skills. He's very athletic and fast. And now the game's slowing down for me, that I'm able to get so many reps, so I can go out there and just continue to just be consistent and be consistent dog.
Why is this a better system for you than what you experienced in Buffalo?
I wouldn't say it's a better system. I would just say I'm just getting a fair opportunity to like go show what I could do. You know what I mean? I'm just getting, just continue to get what I earn and just continue to just make plays. I wouldn't say like I can't fit the system in Buffalo. It's just I wasn't the guy.
Why wouldn't you get a fair opportunity for a team that invested a first-round pick in you?
That was their decision. You know what I'm saying? I never was the full-time starter. I would only play with guys that get hurt. You know what I mean? And most of the time I was inactive, so I couldn't really show what I could do. Only play if somebody get hurt. So like now here, like I'm playing full-time and I'm able to make plays and do what I can do to show that I can be an elite player.
What'd you think of Diggs from afar? You probably watched him get all those interception and everything, and now getting to know him and all. Deron Bland had a huge year. What'd you think of those guys from afar, and then what's it been like getting to know them?
Ball hawks, and being able to be in the same room with them is something that I enjoy. You know what I mean? Just picking up different tips from them and just seeing little things that they do to separate themselves. So it's just been a blessing all around.
Does the experience you had in Buffalo, does that still motivate you?
For sure. I mean, I feel like it was a period of time where I can just continue to grow. You know what I mean? Like, obviously I wasn't playing as much, so I'm not gonna hang my head and stop working. You know what I mean? I'm continue to work, continue to learn from my mistakes, learn from other people, and just take that and run with it.
You got a big opener against the defending world champion Eagles on the road.
Yeah.
What do you want to take from these preseason games to get yourself ready, presumably to start week 1 against two talented receivers?
Yeah, I mean, no fear, just trusting my technique, trusting my effort, and just go out there and put on the show.
Your dad was a little bit bigger than you, wasn't he?
I think I'm taller than my dad.
You're taller,
yeah,
okay.
Taller.
I'm kind of seeing him.
At what point could you beat him in a foot race?
Shoot, probably middle school, like 7th, 8th grade. My dad, because my dad played from 06 to 13, so 7 years. So in that time, I was still developing into a young man. So it was cool. Yeah, it was cool. Like once, like I got to like 8th grade, 9th grade, I was like, I got this.
It was all over for him.
Yeah, it was over.
You think Gators have a chance to win the SEC?
Keep Lagway healthy, get a consistent run game, and a great defense, consistent defense. We should be good.
Well, thanks for your time. We see you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just a nice young guy who, coming off the Bills, was former first-round pick, and I think you and I both found that kind of interesting that he seemed to indicate he just didn't really get an opportunity there. And generally, we think, with the reason we talked to Mazi, that'll be a guest coming up in a minute, but Mazi Smith is going to get every opportunity in the world because they spent a first-round pick on him. You want your first-round picks to work out. You give them every opportunity for that to be the case, and yet Kaiir Elam did not feel like he got a totally fair shake with Buffalo.
Yeah, and Brandon Beane is the general manager in Buffalo, and when this trade took place, Elam's one of 5 former first-round draft picks the Cowboys acquired in the offseason as reclamation projects. They felt he would fit better in Matt Eberflus's coverage scheme. But when I talked to Brandon Beane, the general manager in Buffalo, he certainly was hoping that things worked out better for Elam, and he did accept, as an organization, part of the blame for his failure. But it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me that, Sean McDermott's the head coach there. He's a defensive coordinator, defensive play caller. He's exceptional at that. It just doesn't make sense that they would give up a quality corner for almost nothing. And especially in an offseason where corner was a priority for them. Like, replacing Kaiir Elam was a priority in the draft.
Yeah.
And in the offseason, like, But when Elam went into the playoff game last year against Kansas City, I mean, he was clearly a target of Patrick Mahomes as soon as he took the field. But he's played well here. And, we talked about Micah, and now I still think it gets resolved in Micah. I just don't see Micah Parsons missing a game check. I don't see Micah Parsons missing all that game is going to be in Philadelphia against the defending Super Bowl champions. So I think Micah will be there, but they need a big pass rush because they're thin in the secondary, and especially at corner.
Yeah.
I mean, Elam's been great, but Trayvon Diggs isn't participating right now, coming off a knee injury. Siobhan Ravel, the player they drafted in the third round corner.
Yeah, third round.
He's on the injury list too, and may start the season, inactive for the first 4 games. So they're going to need a pass rush. So they better get the thing resolved with Micah Parsons, and Elam better be great. He better be an exceptional player if this defense is going to get off to any kind of decent start this year.
That's what they're needing. A couple of nuggets, Ed, I wanted to share about the practice. I opened it by running into a guy that I've admired over the years as a player. When I was a kid, he was one of the greatest players in SMU history, if not the greatest player in SMU history, although some people would argue for like Dandy Don Meredith. But I'm talking about ED. Eric Dickerson was at practice today, and he was a great Rams player back in the day. So it's good to see Eric, and I did talk to him about which games he was going to be attending of the SMU game. So fun to see him. And then as I said, Ed, you'll bring us a little bit of a report.
Imagine if the Cowboys are trying to tackle him in his prime.
Oh,
didn't he have some incredible playoff game against the Cowboys?
Yeah. I mean,
almost 300 yards rushing or something.
Yeah, I think they beat the Cowboys 20-0 in that game. Maybe you're talking about 1985. Anyway, but Eric Dickerson was a great one. I was watching the Rams offense against the Cowboys' first team defense. Let me just bring you a couple things that I jotted down. Devontae Adams, he plays with the Rams now. He's still good. They couldn't cover him. And so that was a little scary because
his 5th different team now.
Yeah, he's been around, but man, he was great with the Packers, and had his moments with the Raiders, but was ready to get out of there. And the Cowboys secondary coach, I believe his name is Overstreet, David Overstreet. His big mantra, he was screaming at the players, "Get the rock." Get the rock, and that was just over and over. And he was like, "Don't let them catch the ball," and they did not listen because they caught several balls. Jimmy Garoppolo was playing quarterback for the Rams, and he was doing the same thing the last time we were watching the Rams here in that joint practice. Tyler Higbee, pretty good tight end. Man, he made a great catch. I would say, if I'm going to say some positive things, Damon Clark was number 18 for the Cowboys in defending the run, made a couple of plays, dropped back in coverage a little bit. And, I just got to say, there's a couple of linebackers that I like. Maris Leafau, who we liked last year as a rookie. Man, in run fits, he's good. He gets there. He makes plays.
And he gets the ball.
Yeah, and he does get the ball. And so those were good things that happened. And I was trying to see if anybody made a decent play and pass coverage. They just were not.
Well, you mentioned Jimmy
coverage.
Garoppolo. They're working red zone, and the Cowboys were the worst red zone defense in football last year. They allowed a touchdown 75% of the time the opponent got in the red zone. Inside the 20 was almost an automatic touchdown. And like 75%, that's ridiculous considering it was the highest number in the league by a huge margin. Like nobody else was above 68%. And we're talking the Carolina Panthers gave up more points than any team in NFL history. They were better in the red zone than the Cowboys defense was. And Jimmy Garoppolo, back-to-back touchdown passes on consecutive plays to Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, as you mentioned. So, and then the other thing that I noticed was Kenneth Murray, who's supposed to be, the another former first-round pick they acquired in the offseason from Tennessee. He's supposed to be one of their inside linebackers, maybe wear the green dot. Just got totally blown up by Coleman Shelton, even though they weren't supposed to be hitting to the ground. Believe me, Kenneth Murray went to the ground. And it wasn't, he didn't land feet first either. So that was a big thing. I thought, Shoddy said he was interested. He watched the offense exclusively. Said he was interested in see how left tackle Nate Thomas handled Jared Verse and the Rams pass rushers. Said, Verse won some on some games. I thought Verse was unstoppable, quite honestly. But Shoddy said, "Hey, those are invaluable reps. It was a good day. Not going to say," he said, "we not going to say we played great. We didn't." So admire the honesty of that, public evaluation. And then, the other thing before we get to the Mazi Smith interview is there was a quarterback injury. Joe Milton hit the thumb of his right hand, his passing hand, on a helmet and did not finish the practice today. Shoddy said that the trainers and the early indications are that it's not a serious injury, but because they would like him to play extensively in the game against the Rams on Saturday night, they removed him from the practice. Did have a long touchdown pass to Jalen Brooks earlier in the practice, but 75 yards. He's got a great arm, but that's something to watch. He's going to undergo some further testing, but it appears not to be a serious injury at the moment. We sometimes find out differently later on.
Do you think that's going to be embarrassing at all for Dak on Hail Marys when they bring Joe Milton in to throw the ball? Jared Verse is a monster, and he was in fights. He was in skirmishes, and I had Brandon Fisk, former first-round pick, defensive end for the Rams. He was blowing up plays. Reeder was another player for the Rams that, as Shoddy said, just blow through linebackers or linebackers were running through. Yeah. And so they were missing some assignments. And then here in the coming days, I'll share with you, he didn't feel that great about his practice. He felt okay. But Tyler Booker, who is extremely serious dude, number 52 for the Cowboys, their first-round rookie, I did have a chance to catch up with him after today's practice. Ed, we have a way of just kind of boom, 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 and we let one guy get away from us. We had our prevent defense on. Jaden Blue showed great quickness. He did get around us today, but then, one by one, we started picking off players, and I thought we did some pretty good things. We wanted to speak with Mazi Smith because he's a story in this camp, and he's had a bit of a dubious career, first-round pick, and they're hoping he doesn't go the way of some other first-round picks over the years.
Taco Charlton, another
player from Michigan that they got, and so Mazi needs to step forward, and if not, he's going to get replaced, and they're going to move on from him.
They drafted Jay Toya from UCLA.
They like him.
Who's a big, powerful run defender. That's what he did at UCLA. They had an exceptional run defense. He was a huge part of that. They drafted him in the 7th round, but I was told they had between a 3rd and a 5th round grade. So they feel like they got a bargain, a lot of value out of that pick there. And I think Mazi Smith is probably under the microscope more than any other individual player in this camp.
And that's what we did. We put Mazi under the microscope. He is you really don't need a microscope with a 315-pound man, but we did. We delved into it a little bit. And here is our conversation on the Doomsday Podcast with Mazi Smith.
Hi, this is the Doomsday Podcast. Mazi's joining us now. Ed Warder, Matt Mosley, and joint practice for the Rams just ended. How'd that go for you?
Just working, one foot in front of the other, just keep going, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it went pretty good, but I still got to get better. I got to be able to get off blocks, play with all my extension and stuff, go at that level, all that good stuff.
What was the value of going against an unknown opponent, different players?
You just finally get to let it loose, you know what I mean? It's exciting, you get your blood pumping. We've been working towards this as a team for a little while now. It's good to get out here and get the legs turning.
How do you feel about how you fit into the Matt Eberflus scheme, your 3rd different defensive coordinator in 3 NFL seasons?
I feel like I fit real well, running to the ball, playing the gaps and all that, just playing physically. I feel like I fit in pretty good.
What is the biggest difference that he's brought, would you say, from what you've worked with in the past?
Every defensive coordinator that I've had has wanted a championship defense. That all looks a certain way. Running to the ball, getting turnovers, forcing the ball out, creating turnovers yourself. It's the players, not the plays. It's all kind of the same thing. You know what I mean? It ain't really that much different. It's about greatness. So, yeah.
How do you think you're a different player in year 3 than you were in years 1 and 2?
I just growing, just continuously growing, continuously getting better, continuously, working on everything I need to work on to be my best version on the field.
How personally do you take improving the run defense?
This
is just on you, but
no, I'm the nose guard. Everybody know. When I grew up, when I, look up Wikipedia, what a nose guard is, the biggest, strongest on the field, in the middle for the run because of the double team. So that's what you got to do. It's part of the job description. Run stop it.
Did you do anything different this offseason to get your body ready? Anything different than you usually do?
Yeah, I did a few different things, but most sticking to the course, trying to stay part of the in with the program, continue to build. Sometimes you have things happen or you can't do what you want to do, but working around those things to make sure you still produce the product that you're supposed to produce.
What weight did they want you at, and where are you? And
I want to be 315. I'm 320 right now. That's a little heavy, so I'm probably gonna lose like 5 pounds in a second.
They want you to be more aggressive coming across the line of scrimmage in this defense than Zim did.
Not necessarily. I think it's just a different way to play the blocks. It's definitely attack. Attack front. So definitely taking that vertical step up field and creating knockback. But every defense wants a nose and a 3 technique that knocks the formation back. You want to get the formation consistently. That's how you win the game.
How gratified were you that they committed to Osa in the offseason?
That was a beautiful thing. I was so happy. I think I was at a little sports bar. I seen his face. I seen my jersey on the TV, and I was like, "Who they talk about?" And they talk about Osa. I was like, "Oh, 80." I was like, "Wow." I texted him. I said he deserved every bit of that. Every bit of that.
What kind of player do you see him being in this defense?
The same player he been, the type of player that got him paid the way he is. You know what I mean? He one of my rich friends. You know what I mean?
Has he paid for some dinners out here?
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
Well, we appreciate it.
Thanks, Mazi. Great talking to you.
Yeah, Mazi. Good luck to you, man.
Have a great preseason, and we'll see you in week 1.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
And there was Mazi, and it's been another good day out at Cowboys camp. And Ed, maybe another walk down to the pier. You may be getting tired of that walk. We both have made it several times. I know, but there's no reason we can't go for. It's 2-a-days.
I don't do 2-a-days. They're not allowed in the NFL anymore.
It's 2-a-days with Duke. I remember when it was allowed. It's weird to me now that it's so natural for us just to have the one practice, because for so many years it was 2-a-days.
And like tomorrow, they don't have a practice at all.
Even though we're going to be doing some things.
Yeah, we're
extremely busy. This is going to be the most productive day ever in Doomsday history. And we believe that we're going to get at least 1, maybe 2 more pods out of this. So it should be a big day. Ed, just to remind everybody that very excited tomorrow we're going to be visiting with Stephen Jones and also Brian Schottenheimer. Will you call him Shotty, or will you just stick with Brian?
I have a hard time saying Schottenheimer. I have to make myself say it because I'm inclined to say Shoddy. I don't want to seem unprofessional or prejudicial, favorable toward him by calling him Shoddy, but it's hard not to call him that. I mean, I've known him for quite a while, and when I talk to him, I call him Shoddy. But yeah, it's a little, I don't know, it seems like we should address him properly.
Have we had anybody that we called by like a nickname?
Like we never called Jason Garrett Red Ball or whatever when we interviewed him.
I think of the one we used to say on the Galloway show, Red Jesus.
Gunsmoke.
No, that was Switzer, who I caught up with recently, by the way. I had Switzer on. It'll be good. Tomorrow's going to be power packed. Ed, any other thoughts on the practice or anything that came out of today? I thought Brian Schottenheimer continues to be interesting in his talks, and we got to a couple of things yesterday. He does believe that I think he's very, very excited about CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, and that's one thing I think we can take away even from today's practice. Rams made some good plays in the secondary, but they don't really have. Not many teams are going to. They can't take both of those players away from the Cowboys, and I think it just makes the team much more dangerous. Of course, it would be helpful if they had to run like one positive running play today. That would have been nice.
Play action game might be in barrel.
Yeah.
No, but Schottenheimer did say of Pickens that he has his catch radius and his length is second to none, and that he is developing a true sense of playing a variety of different positions. Where in Pittsburgh he was primarily the X receiver. They want him to play multiple positions because they really want to move CeeDee Lamb around, and you can't do that if other players in the offense can't move around. But you talked yesterday extensively about how they're cross training all these different players and all these multiple looks they plan to have. He said, Deuce Vaughn's injured now, but he said, hey, he's a running back / slot. Hunter Lipke, who he really likes. He's a 2-room player, they call him. So it'll be interesting to see how he uses his personnel during the early part of the season, what kind of identity he creates. Wants to be a tough, physical run team, but is he going to have the players to pull that off? I think that's in question right now.
All right, that is a wrap for this Doomsday podcast, and thankful to the Cowboys and the Cowboys PR continuing to help us out and be very hospitable. As today I blew in there and started making demands for a tent, and they untied one for me. And our buddy Chris Beamer was he was the one that was quick to, I call him
Find
Beamer.
a location.
Is that
Beam,
yeah. Okay. Chris Beam, Rich Beam's his brother, who's a buddy of ours. So anyway,
scouting department.
In the scouting department, and it is great to be with you. And for Ed Werder,
Will you walk all the way in with me tomorrow? You
to-
kind of abandoned me today.
Yeah, Ed found several fans. And,
I didn't find them.
Well, they found Ed, and I was fine with it. And I was just kind of chuckling. I was even going to try to take a picture, and something was not letting me take a picture because my stuff was too full. But you got in the dangest conversation with some guy.
I wanted me to tell him how to get credentialed and become a more legitimate member
of
the
God.
media.
And so I'm waving you on, and it just going on and
I
on.
finished taking these pictures, and I look around, and you're nowhere to be found.
I know. I took off. I was like, I cannot wait.
Very
anymore.
seldom are you ahead of me in anything.
I had to. Hey, on stories, sir. I was
Please.
always scooping you, sir. Okay, it is the Matt Mosley Show. It is the Doomsday Podcast. Good night from Oxnard, California.
Where you are.
I know. I do too much. It's Doomsday. Good night, everyone.
We are Rogue Media Sports.